Hey everyone, haven't done one of these in a while, so I just wanted to, post what I am noticing for tomorrow. Um, Been a little bit on hiatus with this stuff, so I apologize about that. Anyways, not wanting to say too much, we'll try to do this as quick as possible. Um, Bearish candle today, that would be an evening star or morning star pattern if it does confirm to the downside tomorrow. um, I guess biggest thing that we're noticing here that I want to point out is just that we did close back below this white descending trend line here. So probably was this to take out a lot of the stops, short stops, probably, maybe. I think more so it was a test to see if we could get above this all-important red CLVN at 12.16.5. Why that one? Well, if you look back on the range since the beginning of August, I'm going to expand this a little bit and go back up here. What I'm seeing is that nowhere did we ever close above that 12.16.5 price level. We've tested above it, but we did not close above it, meaning that that is an important resistance level of price rejection, that if we do get above it and close above it, then we could possibly see a retest of the 12.24-25 area and 12.30s. And if we do get, want to look even more to the upside, 12.50 is all important upside target if we do break out of this consolidationary sideways range that we've been in since August. So that's on the upside. However, this daily candle does not tell me that's what we're going to do. Depending on where we're trading for the overnight session, which I'll get to later, it doesn't look like we're going to get there. It looks like we have some more retests to do back in lower balance areas. And where would those levels be? Well, I'm seeing that probably closing of this previous day high at this CLVN, this red line here, 11.95 quarter, and then the gap fill at 11.89 and 3/4, which was the previous day's close. Anytime that I talk about gap fill, it has a pretty good tendency of filling depending on the price action, depending on the news. But watching the price action on the intraday basis, I'm looking for those kind of targets to retest and see, are buyers and sellers happy with the current price action relative to where yesterday was trading, or do they need to go back and revisit either to the upside or downside, wherever that previous day's close was. So pardon that little beep. That was, I've been sending you guys this daily chart so you guys know what it looks like. You're very familiar with it. All I'm doing every single day is updating you to see how volume has changed, how volume nodes, whether they're high volume nodes or low volume nodes, have changed over the days, and where we could possibly be testing for the next day's range. And again, with regular support and resistance, it's not that clear cut. So that's why I like sending this to you guys, so you guys can see exactly how accurate we can get with levels of where we should be testing for the next few days. So just quickly, downside targets, if we do get underneath the previous day's close, would likely be the 11.88 area, 11.87 area. And if we could possibly get even more bearish from where we are, I think a really healthy test of 11.78, 11.75 would be decent before we really push up above that white trend line here, and again above the 12.16 area. So I know these are really wide areas, but just really trying to identify levels that are likely targets. So that's looking at that you guys have seen before. This is another daily chart, and I removed a few of the lines so that of my trend lines to make it a little bit more clear. We did see, this, that's a crazy short covering rally, what, 7 up days, and then first pullback today, and it was still a green day. So, well, green red days, they don't really matter to me relative to where the previous close was. That doesn't really make any sense to me, honestly. It's great that the market was green, but then it was a bearish candle. So what's more important, that it tells you it's a bearish candle or bullish bullish pattern or bearish pattern, or whether the day was green or red, so anyways, what I was seeing here was a descending channel that we broke above of, obviously, and right this confluence area here where you see that really high composite high volume node at about that 1158 level will probably still be a downside target if we can get past all those sticky areas here, and then also I would look to fill this gap here after we fill this one if we have more downside. This candle printed on October 7th had well, the close would be down here, so it would actually be filling this gap. So sorry, didn't mean to go off on a tangent like that. So that's another daily chart that we could look at to see a retest of certain levels, even more on the downside. The reason why when I pulled this one up, it just starts to get messy, because we did have a pennant here which we broke down out of, and then we back tested, and then are testing now the upside, the upper trend line of this pennant that has been holding the shape of our trading pattern over the last since August. So important to see that if we do get above 1216.5, that is really constructive for the bulls. If we stay below this white trend line here, it's back down to balance. What is that balance area? Well, first target obviously 1158, and then that micro composite VPOC so far, which is still this teal line. Micro composite is that gold profile. That teal line is at 1137, 1138 area. So that's one thing. One thing I just wanted to point out before I quickly wrap this up is the intraday session. Just to kind of go through this really quickly. This is a neutral day because basically it just went nowhere. But what it showed us was that 1216 was a price that they didn't like, and we needed to go back to balance, or at least not balance, but the start of the day's price range. So we were trading above VWAP, used as a level of support all day, which you could have stayed long up until I think Arnie or Brad or Keith, I forget who it was asking me if we were going to hit 1220 today, and I didn't know if they meant the SPX or the ES, but I did mention that if we got above 1214.5, and why 1214.5 is because that was the most recent high made on September 16th. 1214.5 would be the high of the day. If we got above that, then 1220 would be a likely possibility. But why did we not go to 1220? Well, because this CLVN at 16.5 served as definite resistance, and exactly where we rejected today, 2 ticks away from. A high of the day was 1216 even. So they didn't like that price, brought it down. So I'm sorry if anyone got long at 1214.5 and then tried to play the breakout to 1220, but that's why we stopped at 1216 and came back down. Got back inside IB range, tested the midpoint, and tried to bounce again. This is a complete head fake. Probably suck in some shorts, top them out, get some longs in here, and then go for the tank down to IB low. So if you were short here, then you could have used IB low as a target, and we actually didn't even get into the top part of the previous day's range. We didn't even touch any of that. So where we closed and bounced off of was the overnight low of the previous evening Globex session, which was about 12, I think 96 even, something like that, or 1296 quarter, which is one tick away from the low of the day. If you can see here, low of the day at the close was about 1296 half. So probably gap fill, and this naked VPOC at 1191 half would be your first target on the downside tomorrow if we do gap down. And then sorry, that wasn't gap fill. That's a test of the VPOC of the previous day. That would be a naked VPOC because we didn't test that today. It was a VPOC that was not retested at some point in the past. So it still remains untested and will be untested until we do get there. Then that magenta line will stop going to the right, and I know that is not a target anymore. So we've tested that, and then possible target further down that would be 1188 and 3/4, which is the close of the previous day's session. That would be October 11th's close. So other than that, pretty logical from the way that I'm seeing it now. So if I notice anything tomorrow, I'll make sure to email something out, and so this will be available for you guys to replay. Give me some feedback, guys. Hopefully this helps, and I do like making them, at least just to help me understand certain levels that I should be looking for and not have my expectations out of hand or out of place that oftentimes gets us in trouble. I'll also send I'll send a daily chart to you guys. At least you guys can see the major levels in the big picture to see where we may be going for the next day, why we might be stalling at a particular level of support or resistance. So if we don't get past that particular area, that might be a place to initiate a trade or take profits or what have you. So that's why I want to send this to you, just to make sure that that you're not, I guess, getting ahead of yourselves, thinking that we're going to get up to certain other levels that just aren't. The price action is telling us that it's not happening. So anyways, okay, enough out of me. Hopefully you guys have a great night, and hopefully the rest of your week is profitable. We'll see you guys later. Thanks.